Hello, hello, everyone. There's praise, there's Ben, there's 4 out of 5. Welcome, guys. I don't know if you're saying anything, John, but I can't hear you. Nothing. Nothing. Uh, yeah, I heard something. I couldn't hear what you said, but I heard your voice. Yeah, what 4 out of 5 says. They hear me, but not you. Everyone I know. Oh man, it's gonna take a while. I heard something, but not clear as it was a minute ago. It was clear. Something. Well, I guess it gives us time to let people come in. That's good. All within crypto. Okay. That's still a lot of
How
people.
about now?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Finally.
Yeah. Is this
Either
your
Wi-Fi or
third
mic
mic?
issues. I just went back to the other one. I don't know.
Man, terrible.
Weird. All right.
Hey, hey.
Well,
So
welcome
we
everybody.
get a
It's a fun
yeah,
day.
you get a good evening from Rafael and Ponzi Chat and Marcus.
Seems like a crazy day in all of Pulse Chain. Gas was
Jeez,
definitely higher than Ethereum.
you see that again? And with the whole Maria thing going on.
Right, and the whole P dot.
I'll go ahead. I think their connection is failing again.
Good evening,
Seems to me.
Praise.
Oh, I
If
hear something.
we do cut out, we're kind of like
We're in a third world country and don't really have good connection, but it works well
Maybe that
somewhere
maybe
last
that local Wi-Fi you had was better actually instead
live,
of
I
this
guess.
one.
hotspot is failing.
We try.
So for
And
everyone
we're
just
back.
joining, yeah, for everyone just hey, good to see you back. For everyone just joining, Surfacing and Caddy have a little bit of connection issues. So if you see them falling away, um, I'll try to I don't know, maybe I'll make a joke or something. But maybe John, we should start with the actual talk about everything that's happening.
We should. So we have a distribution phase ending. I guess essentially now. I guess forget the timestamp, or I guess it already ended. But yeah, and so what does that mean? I guess is what the biggest question I think people will have. And essentially means that at the end of, well, I guess there's a couple things that it means. For one, for the trading rewards at the end of this epoch for the trading rewards, though they will end. So meaning that you won't get any more rewards for trading after this epoch, for, at least with XUSD. But you will be able to still compound your rewards, and you'll still be able to claim from all the vaults and whatnot. That won't change. The rewards that are being pumped into the staking contract that the vaults are using has ended. So like, with rewards that you get from trading rewards, you'll just compound them into the vault and then you'll remove them, I guess. There's no way around that aspect of it, if you will. Um, so yeah, that's one aspect of the distribution ending and how you'll get your tokens out of the staking or vaults kind of thing. Um, and we'll update the page here soon once all the other contracts are deployed. Been kind of waiting because gas price has been ridiculous. And once that's deployed and live on the front end, we'll still have the vault page there and everything, so that they won't just disappear, and you'll be easily able to withdraw your tokens, and then you can stake them into the new staking contract system, I guess you could say. So yeah, so that's that aspect of it. The second aspect of it will be what tokens will we be using for rewards now, and this is I guess another new concept for Pulse Chain. It has been a concept that has been live for over a year and a half now, maybe, at least since the beginning of the last bear run on Ethereum. And it's a pretty cool concept. It's called a call option token, technically. And it's a really good way to redistribute your farming reward token to your community while also reducing sell pressure on the token itself. And also, it allows the protocol to kind of, how do I say, so instead of selling your token straight to liquidity and getting your rewards like that kind of thing, the protocol gets to build up their treasury with some of those tokens instead of it just exiting the protocol altogether, which is very important for our protocol for a whole number of reasons. And it reduces sell pressure on the farming token itself. So that's really cool. It's a concept that was created by Timeless Finance, and they have been pretty successful with it. If you look at their lit token and their chart, it has been pretty much going straight sideways. And for a farming reward token to go sideways is like a miracle kind of thing. So it has done pretty well, and also the protocol itself has been able to build up their treasury with, like, I think the last I checked was actually this was like 2 months ago, it was like 1,700 Ethereum. So they've been able to collect a whole bunch of it to use for other incentives, for audits, for other things, anything like that. Not selling your own token to pay your devs, anything. Kind of thing. So it's really nice and it's a really cool system. And so now I guess I'll explain kind of how it works. So what happens is, instead of users receiving OneSwap token directly, you will receive the O1Swap token. It'll be the option OneSwap token. Now, what you'll be able to do with the O1Swap token is that you'll be able to purchase OneSwap at what I call a 50% discount price. So what that means is that if you have 100 O1Swap tokens, you can purchase 100 OneSwap tokens at 50% the cost that you normally would through liquidity. And you'll also not face slippage. So, for example, with the 100, you'll pay whatever 50 one swap cost in wrap pulse, and then you'll get 100 one swap tokens, and then you can sell that for the 50% gain. You'll also, if you're too lazy to do that or just want to just sell it right away, we will set up a pool with one swap and one swap tokens, so liquidity pool. Now, why this is also beneficial is that if you do sell through that, it'll reduce the price of the one swap token in comparison to the one swap token, and it makes for an easy arbitrage opportunity because you can just pick up the one swap and then purchase the one swap, and then make money essentially. And so this is a really cool cycle that happens, and it will be able to we'll be able to build our treasury in a more efficient manner without having to sell the token itself. And like I said, that can be used for a whole bunch of things.
Primarily utility for our protocol is, of course, that being used for peg backing.
Yes, I mean, yeah, sort of peg backing. We don't have any treasury to back the peg with. That is going to be done through the users like you. And it's because I know I mean, it will obviously be there to help out somewhat when needed, but it's definitely not something to be relied upon. It's not a collateralized token. It's an algorithmic. It's a volatile asset, so it's not something to be relied upon. But when push comes to shove, there is that there to kick it back up over peg if needed and unexpectedly. It can't be said, hey, if it goes below this price, we're going to buy in, because then everybody's just going to drain the treasury. And that I've seen it happen so many times where that does not work out. So it's not. It is like, our protocol has a lot of uses for this aspect of it, and it reduces sell pressure on the one swap token itself. So it's a really cool system, and I'm happy to bring it to Pulse Chain. It's been, I mean, I don't know, it's been on my mind since the start of one swap, to be honest. So I'm actually really excited to implement it and get it out there.
So a question about this arbitrage opportunity. So you say, okay, I've got a couple of O1 swap that I bought, that I get as rewards for my liquidity pools. So I claim that O1 swap, and then I got, say, 50 O1 swap, and I want to buy 50 one swap with a 50% discount. So I need to pay for half of that one swap. Makes sense. In a way, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
but then you say there's also an O1 swap, one swap liquidity pool, with which you can basically, with your one swap, buy O1 swap again. How will that liquidity pool? How do you think that liquidity pool will eventually balance itself? Like, what will the price point be?
So what will happen? Yeah. So what will happen is that people who get just the one swap rewards and want to just sell it through liquidity for one swap, they will reduce the price of one swap. Now, once it goes below the 50% price of one swap, that means you can
Mhm.
purchase the one swap at below 50% cost, and then redeem or purchase one swap through the claiming mechanism or whatever you want to call it, at profit, because then it'll be a profit. So
So
you pay
basically,
less than
what you have
50,
is, yeah. So
so
basically,
you'll
what you
pay less
have
than
is you have a
50%.
liquidity pool where it goes up and down, and
Yep.
you have a static sort of, yeah, well, a static thing going on where it's always 50%, and therefore you will get an arbitrage opportunity that people can utilize.
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. Now I'm starting to get it.
Yeah. And like,
Anyone has
it'll
questions about that, then please tell us. Sorry, go ahead.
no, you'll be good. There'll be also, like, on the trading reward page and the farming page, or on trading reward page specifically, we'll have the convert, I guess you could say, um, option down at the bottom, kind of like where you normally would compound your rewards. Um, and it'll be a simple input, two inputs, the amount of O tokens you want to exchange, and then it'll auto input the amount of wrap pulse that you'll also need to go with it to buy the one swap token.
It's pretty nice.
Pretty cool
Hello,
system.
Milton.
And yeah, I'm excited to implement it. And also with this system, they're called it's not just like a staking contract, it's they're called gauges. And it's forked off of the curve liquidity gauges. And so what will end up happening, it won't start today, but will happen in the near future. It's not too far off, to be honest. Is that users will be able to vote on how much rewards will go to the trading rewards, and because they are tied to the gauge staking as well, those same like reward percentage that goes to the trading rewards will be kind of copied over in a way to the staking rewards, sort of thing. So if there's a pair that most users want to have most rewards, then they'll be able to vote for that, and they will get the most rewards, kind of thing. And those are going to be on an epoch cycle of like 1 week. So,
Uh, And what allows you
oh,
to vote? Like, what is
actually, I take that back.
your token?
It's gonna be on an epoch cycle of 2 weeks. So it'll
Yeah,
be
so we planned out a system where like 1 week will be a delegation week where people will be able to propose pairs they want to see. And then the next week will be the voting week. And then following that, for the next epoch, we implement the pairs that have been voted. And people can also vote on the distribution of rewards in different pairs they wish to see for the next epoch every couple of weeks.
right.
And that also means that every 2 weeks we will have two pairs extra chosen by community. However, I feel like it's important to remark that we will be implementing that along the way. It's not something that will be implemented tonight. Tonight we will start with the list of, as we mentioned in chat earlier, Richard Hart core tokens and XUSD, OneSwap, Love, and basically the pairs that had highest liquidity. And along the way, we will implement those votes for delegating pairs that community wishes to see.
Yep. And we'll obviously have another stream when that time comes, because it gets a little complicated in a way. I mean, it won't be on the front end, and when you guys use it, it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, like that will come. Um,
This voting that
Together with
you
governance, I guess,
mentioned.
because this is part of governance.
yep, in a way.
Yeah, this voting that you mentioned is going to be via the fight passes. Like, is that gonna be your voting power, or is it gonna be something else?
It's going to be a mixture of two different things. It's going to be like to vote or to propose a new trading pair will be via the Vi passes. But the votes for rewards for each pair that happen weekly, because the delegation one parts are the additional LP pair parts happen in a 2 week cycle. The rewards aspect happens on a 1 week cycle, and that will actually happen. The rewards aspect will be voted on with one swap token, but it'll be a staked one swap token. So that's actually called the X1 swap token. And the cool thing about the
Okay.
X1 swap token is that you'll actually get rewards just for staking the token itself. Um, so with the X1 swap token, you get a certain amount minted to the X1 swap contract based on trading rewards claims. So the more that you trade, or more that everybody trades and reaches that cap that that there is for each one, the more that the X1 swap token gets filled, and the more rewards you get just for staking. Now, there's also another thing with the X1 swap token, is that there will be a penalty on withdrawing from the token itself, and that penalty will be set at 50%. Now, that 50% just gets re-put back into the X1 one swap tokens. So the longer you sit there and the more people withdraw, the more one swap tokens you're going to get, and that encourages longer staking, and it gives you more power to vote for more rewards. And then the more you trade and the more everybody else trades, the more that it gets filled up as well.
So if I understand correctly, the X one swap token is basically an always up token versus one swap. Is that correct?
Yes, correct. It's yeah, the X one swap
Okay.
token is an interest bearing token that will always go up in price.
Okay. There's a question here directly. Ben is asking like, hey, can you buy X1 swap with one swap? Or what can you buy it with?
We won't make any pairs with it per se.
It's the
I
staking
mean,
that does it, right?
people can make LP with it if you want to, but it's kind of hard to calculate out the arbitrage value for buying it and withdrawing it, kind of thing, because it does change. I mean, it actually probably won't be too hard to calculate. It'll just be like a function on the contract itself. But it's, I don't know, we're not going to make direct pairs with it, mostly because the O1 swap token will be the main focus for arbitrage in that regard. You can stake your
Okay.
one swap token and get the X one swap token for 1-to-1. And when you withdraw, you'll get half of
50%.
that essentially.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool. And by the way, you mentioned Curve like in a sentence, but the Curve protocol has been ongoing for quite a while, right? Curve.xyz, I think,
Yeah,
from the top of
yeah.
my
Curve has
head.
been yeah, and they've been going on for a while. And the funny or the cool thing is that there was something that was I don't know what year it was, but it was called the Curve Wars,
Yeah,
where
I
people
remember
yeah
that.
it was crazy. Literally, protocols were built off of the Curve Wars, which were the same kind of gauge staking contracts that we're going to be using. Because other protocols were like, "Hey, let's buy as much Curve as we can and stake it and vote for our pair, so that we get as much the most rewards, and then we can create a protocol on top of that to redistribute those rewards and have people stake into them and then tax them and yada yada yada." And it was very, very successful, and it's, I mean, still being used today.
Yeah, it's a cool protocol. I never really got into it, but it does cool things. Like it's clear.
Same.
Awesome, man. So X one swap's coming up, O one swap's coming up. Um, all about
Yeah,
all for that one swap. Nice.
yeah, yep. It's all
I
for
had a second
yeah,
question.
for the one swap price. Yeah, but yeah, most importantly, it'll be the O1 swap that you will be getting first, and that will be going live probably later tonight. One thing I do want to note is that the if you're currently staked in the one swap farms on the one swap website, those are also going to end. This is mainly because the operator of the one swap token is going to be the O token. And because the O token will have the power to mint the one swap token and not the staking contract that those are working in. So we will have a time period, probably about a week, that will be set up so that you can withdraw those staked tokens efficiently and effectively before we set the redemption aspect of the O token live. And that is because I still need to look into this a little bit. I have to look at the staking contract, and that is because if you, I think when you claim it mints at the same time, and so if we change that, then you're not going to be able to claim your rewards right away, and so then we're going to kind of run into some problems with that. Um, but anyways, we'll have a week period where you can do that, and even after that week period, if you still have anything staked, we'll be able to work with that amount and get you those rewards, kind of thing. But it's best to, essentially claim ASAP so that you don't have to go through the trouble of trying to get those rewards, kind of thing. And the reason why that's kind of like that is because I don't know, the one swap token has evolved to a point towards that now, and that part never kind of came to my mind, kind of thing. Because it's very restricted on that staking contract and on the OneSwap token itself. That there is only one operator of the mint, and it can't be delegated between two, kind of things, and it's kind of a hassle, to be honest.
What I do like about all of this is that, you know, a, a- not a couple of days ago, even, or, recently, people are still thinking, hey, it's just going to be one swap that's going to be distributed over these pairs and it's going to be the same way. Now, there's a whole new system coming up with voting and, basically where you can try to, do you have this always up token, X1 swap, which is also a voting token so that you can get more rewards into your X1 swap, basically. Um, there's a lot happening, man. It's a pretty cool. It's a lot to process as well.
And I
And I
mean,
heard also that.
in all honesty,
Yeah, go on.
people who have been around since the OneSwap was launched, they have known that the OneSwap token was always going to be a governance token for the reward systems of OneSwap. And the
Mhm.
implementation of the O token on the OneSwap is something I've kind of talked about. Not, I don't really think so too much in the OneSwap chat, even, but it's definitely been like an idea to go that route eventually. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah, like it was always kind of an idea to be a governance token in that regard. I mean, actually, at first it was supposed to be like burned LP tokens to in the one swap to be the governance, but um, later on, I've kind of realized that that's going to be kind of impossible in a way because it can be exploited. Because you can pair it with a token that you made and minted a bunch of, and then have voting, and then dump it, get all the one swap back, then pair again, and then just recycle that and just get a bunch of voting power for. So that part's exploitable, and we don't want to do that. And but the X1 swap in itself, the way it um, recycles the withdrawal and other rewards back into the staking aspect of it, I think is a much better alternative. Um, Also, kind of funny on a side note, if we are looking at PDI and Atropa today and how PDI has been dumping, Maria had burned all that PDI Atropa LP, and that's why it's dumping so hard. And there's no way to remove it to even help um, combat that sell pressure kind of thing. So we won't have that, I guess. Well,
You're not going to burn any more LP. Is that what you're saying?
I guess not. I mean, it's an interesting idea and it's cool in a way, but like it's at least with the XUSD LPs, um, I never wanted to really burn most of those LPs, mostly because liquidity is also a friend and an enemy when reaching peg and trying to get to peg. And it's easier to get to peg with less liquidity. It's easier to maintain peg with more liquidity. So to be able to change the liquidity helps a lot in that aspect. OneSwap, the original idea was to be the one token that will always be tradable because it has a bunch of burnt liquidity. Um,
Mhm.
but it kind of is really difficult to not have that exploited in the manner that we had originally idea or planned, I guess. But I think this is a much better alternative, and it should be just as good, I think. And also, before you wouldn't get any rewards for essentially burning your LP; you would just get voting power. Now you get rewards and voting power.
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool. Like, it makes me interested in getting, X1 swap ASAP because I mean, the sooner you enter, and then you just wait
Right.
for people to get out so that your backs increase, right? Because that's the way it goes. As soon as anyone
Yep.
gets out and takes their 50% tax, then that gets redistributed over everyone who's still in. And all the
Yep.
time, because you have that X1 swap, you get to vote, aside
Mhm.
from your five pass vote, of course. So
And then also
it's a pretty
it
nice system.
increases. Yeah, and also it increases over time based on the trading rewards. Like the more that people trade, the more rewards they're giving out through the trading rewards. the more that gets minted to the X1 swap contract, which means even if nobody withdraws, over time you'll still be able to make a profit from that itself, because then you'll be able to withdraw more than what you had put in, even with the 50%.
Pretty cool, man. And this actually brings us to there were some questions about the pairs that were being left over, the pairs that were taken out. For example, some people had criticism about, hey, why is the XXUSD taken out? Hey, why is the Vibes USD LP? Why are those taken out? It kind of, in a way, you kind of answered the question by saying, hey, we're going to make that votable, so you can vote those back in. Um, so what and basically you said, Caddy, just now, hey, you can get two extra pairs per time that you vote. Is that the idea? And then will there also be two pairs leaving, or how's that going?
It's essentially we have the base right now, and the two extra pairs are just for two extras that are going for the time period. So the list will just get longer.
Yep. So if you want the same two extra pairs to be there again, you'll have to re-vote for
Yes.
those two pairs, kind of thing.
Oh. Okay, so that is the way. So you have these base pairs that are always there, and then there are two guest pairs, so to speak. And at the end of the
Mhm.
period, they will be taken away from there, and then, a vote goes on about which two pairs will be there. And well, then it kind of stays. Like, what is the idea about not entering vibes and stuff like XXUSD there? Like, because those are very close to our protocol. Like, why are those not in there?
So, for the like XXUSD, for example, it is close to our protocol, but the main purpose of the Genesis phase and the distribution phase was to distribute XUSD to other communities, and this was our way of doing that.
Yeah.
And so, because that's ending, now we're just going to the one swap. It changes a little bit, and also to note the main base pairs that will be traded on originally, um, even if like because it will also then be voted on for how many rewards they get. Let's say one pair gets no votes, then that pair won't get any rewards too. So in a way, they can be canceled out, and I mean not blacklisted, but they can be somewhat removed, if you will, in that regard as well. And then also like yeah, we'll have the bypass governance itself. Could also then modify those base pairs if needed. But I mean, those are going to be essentially taken care of with just the X1 swap voting, anyways.
And as for vibes, XUSD, essentially we are not choosing vibes as our base pair for the coming time period because, as we originally said, vibes is our showcase to the community to what you can do with the token by proposing vibe classes. So essentially, community will have the power to either delegate a token to give the perks that Vibes was giving, or to remove it after when they no longer want that.
Yep. So like it already has like a main utility as well, because that is to reduce your vibe score
Yes.
just by holding it itself. So we don't think it needs the help, if you will, or the farming. But later on you can always vote it back in. But yeah, its main purpose was to showcase the vibe class system. And yeah.
And obviously, holding it will still decrease your vibe score.
Yep.
So it's just the rewards aspect that is gone.
That does make a lot of sense. Like, I thought it would be something like that, but it's nice to hear it from your mouth. Um, all right. I've asked the questions that were most on my mind. Were there some other questions from the community maybe that we can voice? Ben
So
says, hey, you
Imperial
said it since
Max.
day one. That was what. Oh, and Paramax. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was a question.
Imperial Max is still a thing. I'm still in contact with them. Actually, yeah, I still need to hit them up. again, and talk to them some more. We're essentially waiting for them to finish their newest protocol before they launch, and then we'll be like a launch partner with them on their newest protocol. So yeah,
Mm.
it's still in the works. Just they need to finish up what they're making, I guess, essentially.
Do you have any idea when that will be, or no idea?
Honestly, it should be. I don't really know. Within the next month or two, maybe, because like about
That's
three
pretty
months ago, they
close.
said about 3 or 4 months.
Next quarter.
Yeah, next quarter.
Next quarter. Cool, man.
Hmm.
All right. Any other questions from people? I see nothing yet. So, do you want to say anything about the thing going on with Maria and PDI and the way you look at that, or do you want to skip that?
I could talk about it a little bit. Honestly speaking, I have been head deep into my own code to not even really pay attention to what's been going on. Um, and yeah, like I mean, the last couple of days has been pretty nonstop, making sure all of our contracts are working correctly, having full tests and internal audits done on them, and doing all that kind of stuff. So I haven't really been paying attention, to be honest. Um, the one thing I do want to say, I guess, about it is that you know, PDI is a token that was forked from Ethereum, and essentially has no dev team behind it on Pulse Chain. There is a dev team on Ethereum. Um, and I know I guess most of the governance on it is based through their DAO, and what can be changed, what can't be changed, and stuff like that. I haven't really looked too deeply into the core concepts of the contracts, to really understand if something is exploitable within the minting aspect. But honestly, to me, on a pretty quick glance, a lot of the minting and stuff that has been going on, having people essentially exiting their positions that they have had staked. Now, either that can be from when they forked over, they just had a bunch already in the vaults from Ethereum, um, or they did it early on, thinking that that's what you want to do on Pulse Chain when it was really cheap, and now they're just cashing out. I think Richard Hart did that bunch at start, but I don't really know. Um,
Mm.
I mean, I guess that being said, yeah, I don't know. It's a devless protocol right now, and technically, it kind of is a devless protocol already on Ethereum because it is under the governance of the it's DAO, which is all voting. Um, Now, like I said, it's like there's millions and millions put into the protocol on Ethereum. That being said, like somebody who had, let's say, $100 million worth of DAI and those vaults could be cashing all that out, and it would be essentially 100 million DAI that they could just pull out and dump now on Pulse Chain. Um, so who knows? But I don't necessarily think it is exploiting or something. I don't necessarily think somebody is exploiting it uh, through a vulnerability on a contract. The only thing that I think could be exploitable is through an arbitrage opportunity and a discrepancy between prices. Um, but even that is kind of iffy in a way because they use the numbers of the tokens itself and not really the prices to do that. So who knows? The new docs should be
Okay.
out here pretty soon. We're finalizing those up.
This week.
Pretty soon.
Should be out
Most
this
likely
week.
tomorrow.
This week or tomorrow.
Cool. Man, I am excited for those, like having those online, because that also means that our marketing will ramp up, right?
Yep, very much so.
Yeah.
And
Good.
I guess also with the whole Atropa thing, for him to switch over to wrapped Ethereum, I mean, it's the same as wrapped Pulse. You can even mint wrapped Ethereum with your Pulse tokens. So it's I don't
Doesn't
know.
really say anything.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
doesn't.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, in all honesty, it just seems like a lot of panic selling in the end.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, unlike LUSD, which was in control of an oracle that could be exploited, um, I don't think Maker or PDI is, because it does. I don't think they use the price points. They just use token number values.
Okay. Nice. Um, I think I asked all my critical questions, right? Um, yeah, when will you do the update that you said you would do on the site where the vaults will actually be there? Because at midnight tonight, GMT or UTC, the new vaults will go live, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay,
when can I
so
stay?
another yeah, so another thing, the new volts aren't going to be volts. They're gauges. So they're not going to be auto compounding your rewards. You'll have to claim them just like the one swap farms at the bottom of the page are. Then you'll just claim your O tokens. But yeah, that should go live around midnight tonight.
Okay, and then you can stake them, or you will have them earlier so that people can already go and get some sleep, or
Yeah, well, when it goes live tonight, you'll be able to stake and do all that.
fair enough.
But you won't be able to um, buy one swap with the O tokens just yet, because we have to wait for the one swap farms on the one swap page for the people to exit
Hmm.
that. At least give them a little bit of time. It was a little oversight on my aspect. I didn't think about that. The aspect that when they do claim, does mint. So if it's not minting, then how are they going to claim, kind of thing. So we'll give a week for that, and then we'll essentially turn the execution, or I guess is what it's called function wise, on the O token on essentially, for you to purchase the one swap with the O token.
Okay, fair enough. So repetitive messages to people to claim their one swap on the one swap side.
Yep.
Fair enough.
And yeah, once the yeah, essentially.
Okay.
So wrapping this up, essentially, keep in mind that for another week, you will be stacking your all one swaps and
Hmm.
be unable to convert them just yet.
Right.
But the staking is going live tonight
Yep. And the trading
and the
rewards.
trading rewards.
Awesome. Well, I'm really thankful for you guys to from your third world country come in and explain all this to us, and to get all the stuff done anyway, despite your traveling and the things that are going on. So yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
and
no
thanks to
problem.
the wonderful community, of course, to be here, ask your questions, and pump our token. We've been pumping pretty okay lately, so good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. And yeah, thank you for hosting.
Was I hosting?
I don't know.
But yeah, some of us were hosting, but yeah, thank you. Very always happy to be here. See you guys. Cheers.
See y'all later.